a little video focusing on balance. So most of these aren't super long because I upload them faster if I keep them short. So trying to add more. If you have suggestions or ideas or something you want me to focus on, let me know. I'll be happy to try to work stuff in. Some days I feel more motivated than others, so that's going to be reflected in these, and I hope that you recognize that that's just normal, and if you feel the same way, perfectly fine. So I have a few props if you want to grab anything like this. First of all, the wall, always a great prop. If you have somewhere you can practice with a wall, I have a chair close by. I also, if you've been in my classes before, sometimes we stand on a block. If you have one at home, awesome. If you don't, you can also use a book or two, nice thick books, or I grabbed a little step stool. Wouldn't matter how big it was. It'll still work. We'll get the job done. So if you want a mat, you can have one. We're gonna be standing this whole time, so if you don't need one, certainly don't have to have one. So let's just take a moment, kind of start to check in and see how we're feeling today. Grounding down into our feet, this is a really good chance to notice those four corners of the feet. So if you think about the base of your big toe, base of your pinky toe, either side of the heel. So that's our Pada Bandha, our root lock. Really try to press those points into the floor. That helps to, number one, engage the muscles in the ankles, the calves, the shins, to protect the knees and to build strength and support. But it also helps our balance, and it's a nice thing to kind of focus on if you feel a little out of balance. So go ahead and focus on that, and then think about aligning the feet underneath our hip bones that jut forward, so we have nice alignment. Joints are stacked and therefore protected. Take a nice breath in. See if we can melt the shoulders back and down just a little bit. Another big breath in. Feel so the belly lifts, and then draw those deep abdominal muscles in with our exhale. And then one more time, big full breath. And then exhale, kind of let that go. Take a moment to shift the weight, maybe from one foot to the other. See how that goes. See if we notice any imbalances. And then see if we can shift the weight from the back of the feet to the front. And again, just kind of acknowledging how it feels. There's no right or wrong here. And then we'll ground down into the four corners of the feet. Find that stability, lift up tall. And maybe just take a moment to find something to be thankful for today, helping us to find center and balance. And then with an inhale, we'll sweep our arms up. With our exhale, we'll go ahead and sink into chair. We can let our arms fold into our heart. We can extend them long, we can rest them down, but focus on just keeping those knees tracking over the feet, not out, not in. Nice and controlled, grounding down into the four corners of the feet. And then we'll inhale that tall, exhale back to chair. So just letting your breath kind of lead your movement here. Might be a totally different pace than I am moving at. And then we'll meet at the bottom, finding our chair, holding here, perhaps folding those hands into the heart, rolling the shoulders back and down, coming into a little balanced chair here. So I like to go up onto the ball of one foot, see how it feels. Maybe we're staying there today. Maybe we're pressing up, so both heels are lifted. We notice the muscles that have to get active here, and we find the breath. So if we're doing one foot, we can always drop that heel down, lift the opposite one. Or if we're doing both and we want to stay there, hanging out. And then melting into the heels. Nice easy chair here. And then inhaling tall. Big full breath. Let's go ahead and exhale into a forward fold, maybe even just going halfway down. Inviting space through the hamstrings, the back of the legs, hinging at the hips, a lot of bend in the knees if we need it. And then again, inhaling tall, big full breath. Exhale chair. Inhale tall. Exhale as we swan dive into that forward fold or just lowering halfway. Again, trying to shift the weight from one foot to the other. Kind of notice how that feels. and then we're going to try to shift our weight to the back of the feet and the front. And then melting down into the heels. On our inhale, lifting up, big full breath. Exhale as the hands fold to the heart. Then we're going to step apart. So if you have a mat, just kind of stepping to the wide edges of it. If you don't, totally fine. You do this without. Let the arms just rest as we find the four corners of the feet again. So anchoring down, grounding. Notice how you get that activation through the lower legs here. And then moving into some moonflowers. So with an inhale, we sweep the arms up, 5-pointed star. Exhale as we draw the elbows together, knees bend, and then inhale tall. So as we find this movement and shift through the hips, through the glutes, maybe just acknowledging, feels a little different today. So giving ourselves a little bit of grace and just honoring our bodies with movement and breath. We'll meet at the top, find our 5-pointed star. Let the left hand drop as the right arm reaches up and over. Think about a big long line from your right foot all the way through the right fingers. Come back to center. And then right arm drops, left arm reaches. And then 5-pointed star. And then we're gonna have some fun here. We're gonna melt into a moonflower. As we lift, we'll step the right foot in, coming into our tree. We'll balance here. Exhale back to that moonflower. Inhale as we step the opposite side. So a little bit of balance challenge here. If you move slower, probably find it's a little more difficult. This is a great time if you want to slide in that chair. Great time to use that chair. A little extra support. I have it top one side, but you can put it right in front of you. The wall too, great prop. And then we'll go ahead and move through one more on each side. So I've lifted my right leg to start, I'll finish with my left. Probably inverted on video. Slide that prop back out of the way if you want. And hinge forward, put the legs wide, melt into a standing straddle split. So just a chance to kind of check things out. Stretch through the hips. If it feels okay to you to let the head hang heavy, shake it out, move the shoulders, enjoy that space. And then we're ready. We will walk the feet back in, come back to standing. And now we're going to add the little standing challenge on our prop. I'm going to use the step stool. You could use anything. You can even stay on the floor if you choose to. But this just creates a little extra work for the hips. Of course, a little balance challenge as well. So what we're going to do is stand on our prop. Take a moment to kind of notice equilibrium in the hips. So as your foot that is not standing on the prop lowers, you'll notice the hip lowering and then lifting. And we're trying to find neutral with those. So use those hip bones. We're going to draw that other foot out to the side, toes pointed forward. Hold here for a moment. Draw it back down. Bring the foot forward as far as you feel comfortable. Back down, and then we'll bring it behind. As we bring it behind, you notice the shoulders wanting to tilt forward. Go ahead and draw them back over the hips. And then we'll bring that leg back down and switch. So, opposite foot comes to the support. Play with that hip adjustment. Firmly engage that grounding hip. And start with that abduction. Toes pointed forward. Lowering it down. Drawing it forward. Lowering it down. And then lengthening behind. Again, keeping shoulders controlled over hips. Back down. Step off. Set your prop off to the side. Just going to finish with a little balance flow. I'm actually just gonna step forward so I'm not even on my mat at this point. Come into one last little flow, just for fun. Do what works for you, your practice. So I'm gonna start with my left foot down, lift my right leg. Sometimes we call this Karate Kid, just kind of a one-legged balance. Want a little extra challenge, anytime you're in balance, close your eyes, shake things up a bit. And then we'll draw this back into our warrior three. So grounding into the four corners of that bottom foot. Option to touch the toe down if we need to. We draw the back foot behind us, press the heel away. We can rest the hands on that prop, on our leg, or we could lengthen them out in front. And then again, moving with control, make sure we're breathing. We're gonna stand our way back up. Again, option to touch the toe down. Back into one-legged balance. And then sliding this into tree, just remembering to avoid putting pressure on your knee. Engage that lower hip, find the four corners of the foot. Let the branches support you. With an exhale, we release, lower down, shake it out, switching sides. Anchoring down, engaging that hip, lifting into a one-legged balance. Drawing back to warrior three. Again, moving with control, we can always drop the top foot down if we need to. Arms can rest, find support, or extend. And from here, engaging that core center to start to move, lifting our way up, back to one-legged balance, and then tree. So if you've ever been to one of my classes, I always talk about how outside influences affect balance. So between the quarantine, getting stuck at home, changing weather, lots of things will affect us. So just embrace wherever you are today. Know that we're on a journey and we're doing good things for our body just by practicing. Let that go, shake it out. And then we'll wrap it up. Just a little bit of movement through the shoulders because that's always good for us. So we're gonna sweep the arms wide, big full breath. And then crossing left arm over right, giving ourselves a little hug, let the chin fall to the chest, maybe even patting ourselves on the back, rubbing those shoulder blades a little bit. And then sweeping the arms wide again. This time right arm over left. Same thing, giving yourself a little hug of encouragement. Maybe sending out a hug to those that we normally are able to practice with and just not able to do so today. And then again, opening wide, big breath. We'll let the arms sweep overhead. Fold the hands into the heart and we'll roll those shoulders back. Melting them back one more time. Deep sinking breath. Grounding into the feet and closing our practice. Just giving thanks for what we are able to do. Namaste.